everybody would have had this share of experience and embarrassing moments with this communication mishap, communication gap in our practice. Everybody will have their own experience, and I will be sharing some of my thoughts and experiences for the reasons and how we can have some problems with communication gap. The essence of communication is how much it is transferred from your brain to other person's brain. So there are hurdles now. One is what you think. There should be a match between what you think and what you speak, and then what you speak and what other person hears, and what other person hears and what he understands. So these are the hurdles of communication. And if there is transparency, then the communication is complete. So what the successful communication is, how much percentage is transferred to the other person.
Take one.
This is one of the simple examples.
What is it?
Bone marrow aspiration needle.
Good. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Take one.
No, it's okay, sir.
Take one.
So this can happen if you don't understand. This can happen, and we all know the biggest communication miscommunication problem in the history was Draupadi's marriage. So Arjuna wins Swayamvara and brings Draupadi to Kunti, and she doesn't understand what it is, and she'll tell, share amongst yourselves. So the rest is the history. So this is a problem when you don't understand. The problem is the other minds hear what they like. So they may not understand and hear whatever it is heard. So what are coming to the root causes? What are the main causes of communication gap? One is assumption. So we assume that this person has understood. We assume the literacy level of the person. We assume the understanding level of the person. So many a times this happens. So if you assume and speak, half is said. So half is not understood. And sometimes when you are talking, lack of time, lack of concentration in your consultation period, and lack of knowledge by the counselor especially, and lack of clarity of what is going on, and underestimating and overestimating the other person. So these are the common problems. And not the least, the communication, the language barrier. When I was doing my residency, we were new to Hindi. So we had seen Hindi only in movies. So one evening, a patient came and asked, Dr. Saab, aankh mein pani aa raha hai, kya karu? Then I told, wo sui le lo, saaf karo. Then he told, sui se kaise saaf karo? Then I showed Rui there. So this is a language barrier which can create embarrassing situations. And the similar sounding words like this, I told to cover iPad. Some of the problems can happen in OPD, waiting lobbies, where the problem happens with the waiting period. If you have not clearly told the waiting period, waiting time, how patients are sent inside, how they are screened, this lack of clarity can create a lot of problem. Every patient feels that he is waiting for a longer time compared to the other person. So this is one communication problem. Second is if there are same name, because in some areas, especially in our state, same name will be there. Like Manjunatha will be there, five people will be there in a day. So these kind of names, you can end up in dilating a wrong person's pupil. So once you are there OPD, this is, I think everybody have experienced a lot of embarrassing situations because of communication gap. Assuming things, especially assuming the relation, brother and wife come, brother and sister comes, you think they're husband and wife, or two friends come, they think you are couples and start assuming that they are husband and wife. So this is very, very important, not to assume any relation. Whoever comes, you ask first, what is the relation, then talk. And then being, assuming the literacy level. Once one middle-aged lady came and I was showing her this e-chart. Then I asked her, what you are doing? Then she told, I am judge of this place. So this has happened with me. And assuming the financial status of the patient by looking at the addresses. So if somebody is poor looking, they may end up in multifocal package. So you don't know. Don't assume things. Second, being blunt on explaining the prognosis. This you should learn over the time. But initially I was telling, yes, no, this is a retinal degeneration. You can't get any vision. So better not to be blunt on explaining the prognosis. They'll get offended. And insensitiveness. This also comes by experience, sensitivity. Initially, once it happened like this, around 25-year-old lady married, she came, told that I can't see, especially after the first delivery, and she was myope. Then I told, you are bluffing. This has been there from childhood and you are telling now. Then my senior doctor told, no, it's not like that. You be diplomatic, then it will create a social problem. So insensitiveness. So these are many examples we can start giving in OPD. Everybody would have understood. And second is misunderstanding the diagnosis. So you use the same word nerve for everything. Glaucoma damage, nerve problem, ARMD, nerve problem. So when you attribute everything to the nerve, they'll end up in tomorrow, next day they'll go to a neurologist and tell that there is some nerve problem in my eye and correct it. So you should really differentiate between what is optic nerve, what is retina, and what is glaucoma. And especially these chronic diseases like glaucoma. So if you don't explain them, they'll end up with a other pathy like homeopathy and other people. Places where pre-op counseling, like cataract counseling, Krishna Prasad will cover, but here using too much technical words, like telling the patient that you have got adult vitelliform macular dystrophy. So those words are not very easy to follow for the patients. And focusing too much on the machines and implants than surgical skill. So you talk of 20,000 lens, 25,000 lens, instead of concentrating on the surgical skill. So tomorrow it will create a problem. He'll think that you have not done anything, only lens has done the job. Sometimes using very scary words, like I'll tell you, I'll explain vitrectomy. One junior doctor was explaining vitrectomy like this. We will make 3 holes in your eye, and in one eye we will put the torch, and in second hole we will put the tap, and in third hole we will put the scissor and cut all the blood and remove the blood and put the oil. So what patient should think? You are putting a tap, torch, and cutting things and putting an end of the surgery, put oil in my eye. So this explaining very scary words should be avoided, and over-promising things. So see, because of this commercialization, we have started oversimplifying and simplifying the surgery. Like it takes 2 minutes, no rest, nothing. It's just like coming and going. You will see everything tomorrow. So this is the problem. So over-promising is very dangerous sometimes, and missing out the options like post-op near vision. Everybody will think that they'll see distance and near vision clearly after surgery. So you should not forget to tell that monofocal lenses are there only for the distance vision. So OT manners, there is many embarrassing situations in OT also. Like you may end up in operating a wrong person with a similar name. And this happens most of the times, IOL power and package cost. Unfortunately, they are almost similar. So when I say open 25 lens, patient will tell, sir, I have paid 30. So this is the problem. So you should explain that this is the power of the IOL and the cost package is different. And talking of complications and post-operative instructions also. Here, if you don't instruct clearly, they'll end up in overusing, underusing, misusing, and wrongly using and improperly using the eye drops. And some words like laser. So you should differentiate between 4 types of lasers. Everybody will think that do laser in my eye. So they think that laser is a solution for every eye problem. So this one thing should be avoided. And this failure in follow-up visits. If you don't explain correctly and stress the follow-up visits, they don't come for follow-up in diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, and post-cataract surgery. So how to avoid? Stay focused, never assume things, be calm and composed, simple to explain, gain knowledge and give training program, ask them to attend workshop for your workers and accept and learn from mistakes. So many times you can learn from mistakes, accept it and cross-check it. This is very important. Whatever you have explained, you ask the patient to explain back. So then you will understand what, and use a technology like audiovisual aids and reminders. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.